Right, so Bafana Bafana are a game away from the final of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations tournament. They face rivals Nigeria in the semi-final tonight at the Stade Bouake. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. South African time. It's a repeat of the 2000 semi-final, which the Super Eagles won by 2-0. To help us look ahead to this match, we are joined this morning via Zoom by former Bafana Bafana goalkeeper Verge, who was also part of the 1996 Afcon winning squad. Roger, good morning. I appreciate your time this morning on Newzroom Afrika. Roger, allow me to take you sort of back to 1996 as the team was getting ready to face off with Ghana in that semi-final on home soil. Take me back to what, emotions the team was feeling. What was said in camp in the build-up to that game against Ghana in the semi-finals?
Firstly, good morning and thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a long time ago, I must tell you, but yeah, it was exciting times, and I remember our biggest thing was to have Madiba come visit us because he kind of gave us a bit of an omen that every time he visited us, we'd win. So, yeah, it was all about that, really. We didn't really have a feel of it because we were all locked up in a hotel. We didn't really know the feeling that was going on the outside. But I think once we had beaten Ghana in that semi, it was a realistic dream for us. Up till then, it was just a game-by-game scenario. And I think pretty much what the guys are experiencing now, I think, up until the last win, I think it was more of, whatever we do will be good. But now it's a reality. Now they've got to stay until the end of the tournament, play for third and fourth possibly. So they're on the verge of great things. I just hope they can carry us through.
And I asked that question because I sort of want to juxtapose the feelings that you guys were feeling in 1996 with the feelings that might be going through the heads of the players in the build-up to this game against Nigeria. How far do you think the team believe they can go in this year's tournament? How much belief do you think is in this crop of players believing that they can essentially go to the final and possibly win it?
I think once we got through the group stages, I think it became sort of like, okay, let's see how far we can go. A lot of people doubted him getting through the group stages, and it wasn't the best of starts. So once they got through that, it was almost like, okay, we're here now. And I think once they beat Morocco, I think it became a reality. I think Morocco, one of the top countries in Africa, they had a great World Cup. They had fantastic African Cup of Nations as well. And everybody spoke about Morocco being the team of Africa and Senegal. So both those teams are out. And I think once they beat Morocco, it became a reality. And then obviously the aerobics in the penalty shootout was just giving them another bit of an edge. And now it's anyone's game now, to be honest. Nigeria is a strong team, of course. When you get to this stage, every team is strong. There's no easy games. Yeah. But I think there's a belief in the team, which is nice to see.
Do you think, though, that there would have been conversation extensively in camp regarding, the history between these two sides? Obviously, we know that Nigeria coming to this match having more experience than Bafana Bafana in the Afcon tournaments. They are three-time champions. Bafana Bafana having won just only 2 of the 14 meetings between these two sides. Nigeria 7. Do you think, though, that it was spoken a lot extensively that history-wise we are on the back foot?
Yeah, but look, history doesn't win games. That's one thing you've got to realize. And I'm sure they've spoken about this as well. It's every game is sort of the whole story on its own. It's on neutral grounds. They haven't had the best tournament either, Nigeria. I think they're a little bit of couple of hassles with the coach. Should he go? Should he not go? There was a lot of talk about that. So they're not a very stable team either. So I think there's a realistic chance of us beating them. At the moment, I see it as almost 50-50. I think we have a belief in ourselves. We're doing really well. The guys are playing the type of football that we know how to play. We're not trying to reinvent South African football. They play the best they can in the way they know how to play. Of course, Nigeria got top players from Europe, and they're big and strong and physical. If we stay away from the physicality and we play the football, I think we have a 50-50 chance, and I think they know that. And to be honest, I think if they came home today, I think the Euros are ready. I think we've had a fantastic couple of months as South Africans with the World Cup rugby, the cage fighting, the entertainers, and everybody else, the musicians. We've really done well. This will just be the cherry on top.
Roger, talk to me about where you think this game will be won, because a lot of things have been said about the defenses of both teams. Nigeria having conceded 1, South Africa 2 goals in the build-up to this semi-final match. Do you think, though, that in defense, this is where the game will be won tonight?
Yeah, look, I think both teams are very sound defensively. I mean, you can see the record they've had over the tournament. And I think it'll probably be a very cagey affair. So it will come down to the very few and far in between chances that come up in the game. So if we can get away with that and, well defend very well. And then, of course, the few chances we get, we've got to punish the opposition. And hopefully we'll do that.
What has impressed you most about this Bafana Bafana squad, Roger?
I think what's impressed me is sort of the attitude, especially in the first half. I think we've always been on the back foot most of the first halves of all the games, but we've carried ourselves through with belief. We haven't lost our composure. We kept going. And then obviously we get the win later on in the game. And I think that's been good to see. It's a sign of maturity and a bit of experience in Africa with the clubs like Sundowns. It's just nice to see. We're no longer just sort of a lucky packet. Now we know what to expect, and we played pretty well.
And a lot of things has been said also about the majority of these players in the squad being from Mamelodi Sundowns and how, they have the experience of playing on the continent, whether it was the CAF Champions League, the AFL as well. Do you, though, agree that Mamelodi Sundowns players have essentially been responsible, so to say, for the success of Bafana Bafana in this year's tournament? Would that be a right summation to make?
Yeah, I think it helps. I think the success that Sundowns has had, I think it was Pirates initially, and then Sundowns took over that role, and they've really been top contender in African club football. I think the experience that the players are gaining there is really passing on to the rest of the squad. There's no doubt about that, and it's good to see. Even though, international football is very different to club football. You must remember that when you play club football in Africa, you're playing against local African players, but at this level, you're playing against European players. These guys have all applied their trade in Europe. I've seen Morocco and all these other teams that we've come up against, Cape Verde, and now Nigeria. You'll find 90% of the squad play in Europe. So it's slightly different, but I think there are certain issues that are similar, and the fact that we are traveling, we're on the road, we're playing in Africa, I think that is rubbed through the squad with the experience that Sundowns had.
Obviously, both teams would have some weaknesses going into this matchup later on tonight, Roger. Where do you think the weaknesses of Nigeria lie, and how does Bafana Bafana go about exposing those weaknesses?
Yeah, I think, look, they're strong defensively. They do play on the counter as well. So we've got to be aware of that. I think if we keep our concentration up for the 90 minutes and don't let them get any counters and be defensively sound. A good defensive balance throughout the 90 minutes is important. And I think be patient. You're not going to win the game in the first 20 minutes. It's going to be a 90-minute, maybe 120-minute game. So be ready for that. Expect that. And I think what's key for Bafana is don't get into a physical battle, because you're going to lose if you get into a physical battle. Play football. Play as much football as you can. Position-wise, are we expecting to see Bafana, having the ball possession? Because we've seen in some of the games how, they haven't necessarily had the ball possession, but they've managed to win games where they have not played their base football and kept ball possession. What are you expecting to see regarding that? You see, that has been my impressive side. We've learned to play without the ball, and I think that's something that as South Africans we weren't very good at. We always think that having the ball is the key factor, but it's nice to see that our Bafana team now can play without the ball, and they enjoy it almost. They organize, they got a system, they're patient, they wait till they get the ball. They don't just run all over the place, and they're very disciplined. And I think that could be the key factor, the discipline side of it. I don't think the Nigerian players, I think there's a lot of superstars. And I think with us, we're more of a team. And I think that could be the key factor. Yeah,
superstars in this team, but they've been criticized because they don't play as a team, this Nigerian side. As we round off this conversation, Roger, give me a prediction for this matchup. By how many wins will South Africa win this game? By many goals, rather?
I think it will be the odd goal. I don't think it's going to be a goal feast, as much as we'd like to see one. But I think it will be a tight affair. It will probably be a 1-0. And I hate those 1-0s because it's nail-biting until the end. But hopefully it's 1-0 in our favor.
Roger, I appreciate your time this morning on the AM Report. Enjoy the game tonight. It's going to be a great one. Roger Desar, former Bafana Bafana goalkeeper, speaking to us ahead of this matchup. It remains to be seen, though, if Bafana Bafana will win their first ever game over Nigeria at an Afcon tournament.